You know what's scary? The police. They're scary. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm gonna do a movie review on a 2016 horror movie because I'm about to do the top 15 best movies of 2016 list, or maybe 10. Maybe I'll do a 10. Um, but yeah, anyway, I have decided to do a review on Robert Eggers' The Witch. And also, another reason why I'm reviewing this movie is because Robert Eggers um, and his brother had made another movie called The Lighthouse, and it's going to be released this year, and it's getting a lot of buzz. So I'm just going to review this one before I watch The Lighthouse. So The Witch is a horror movie about a family in the 1630s. They were originally in England, but they moved to New England, which is now USA, and they were banned from the plantation, so they had to live in the wild, in the wilderness. They live in a farm in the middle of nowhere in front of the woods, and it was really depressing for them because they were starving and the crops weren't growing properly because there was a rot, apparently. And then things started to happen. Apparently, there's a witch in the woods, and one of the babies in the family, actually there's only one baby in the family, was kidnapped, and the family was in a lot of trouble. And that's all I can tell you without giving a spoiler alert, because it gets kind of crazy later on in the movie. So first of all, let's talk about the acting. They are actually really amazing. What's special about this script is that all of the dialogues, they're written in 1600s English. Actually, I'm not sure if English in the 1600s sound like this. I'm pretty sure there should be more of an accent to it, but this is the best they could do without English being unintelligible. So yeah, basically, all the characters speak in thou, thy, thee, shalt, wouldst. They speak in Old English. Fear not, brother, I'll be back by midday. What's the matter with thee, Caleb? And they're also speaking in very heavy Northern English accents, like, they're Jon Snow or something. But yeah, the acting is fantastic. All the child actors, they're all fantastic. Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing as well. I think she's amazing in horror movies. After The Witch, we have Split, and she's just really good in horror movies. So put her more in horror movies. But yeah, another thing I really like about this movie is the directing, the cinematography. Yeah, there are a lot of long takes, a lot of still shots, a lot of wide shots where nothing's happening, but in the middle of the frame a character is like doing something, and you're sort of seeing that right there, and that's pretty special. And it's actually really heavily inspired by some of the cinematography from The Shining, especially the witch in the movie looks like the old woman in the bathroom of room 237. Yeah, she does, and it's really scary. But the colors in this movie is really different from The Shining in that it's really bland and dull, but it just reflects how depressing this story actually is. And it just shows how empty life is when you're banned from the plantation, you're not home, you're not in England, and you're in trouble. My biggest complaint with this movie is that the first act is kind of slow and boring, to be honest. There are scenes where it's just really long-winded and it doesn't get that interesting. However, the second and third act, they are way more intense and way more tragic. What I also really love about this movie is that it's really realistic. If a family is being, attacked, I think is the word, attacked by witches, this is what's gonna happen. This is exactly what's gonna happen. And it's really realistic. It's really historically accurate. I can tell that Robert Eggers did like a lot of research before going into this movie. Actually, in one of the interviews, Robert Eggers said that he spent more time on researching these supernatural stuffs than him doing movie stuffs. So there are a lot of folklores and fairy tales being adapted into the story. And you know what? Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the movie, skip it. There are a few really interesting and thought-provoking scenes, like that scene when Caleb was seduced by the witch in her young form. It's kind of obvious that Caleb has this lust thing going on with him because, hey, he's a young boy who's about to grow up into a teen, and that's what happens. And because of his lust, he got seduced by the witch, and then he came back home naked and possessed. And just moments before he died, he did a complete 180 degree from, hating the Lord, succumbing to the devil, to suddenly praising the Lord, repenting sins. It's actually really scary. This really jarring 180 degree turn. It's so scary. I get goosebumps while watching that scene. Like no one with the right mind would suddenly praise the Lord this passionately all of a sudden. And then we have the ending, which is incredibly thought-provoking. In fact, after watching this thing, I'm like, wait, it's like Hereditary. The plot of the movie, it's like Hereditary. But yeah, basically every single family member gets killed except for Thomason, who is the main character, who is played by Anya Taylor-Joy. Why? Why isn't she killed? It's because the witches wanted a new member in the community. That's why they had to kill all the members except for that one girl, so that girl would become a witch, which is what happened at the very end. The witches, they killed all the people. This black goat, who is Black Phillip, notifications. Black Phillip ran right into the father, killed him, and then at the end, the mother, who went totally crazy, who wanted to see her children so bad, he had to make a deal with the devil, and then she saw that her husband is dead, and she thought that Thomason is the witch, so she wanted to kill Thomason. So Thomason, in self-defense, had to kill the mother instead of grabbing all the food and grab a horse and ride back to the plantation at full speed. He tried to talk to Black Phillip, who is apparently the leader of the witches, and Black Phillip is like the devil. And at the end, in the dark, Black Phillip whispered to Thomason and asking Thomason if she would like to live deliciously. And Thomason said yes. And this human figure that's very dark and hard to visualize showed up behind Anya Taylor-Joy and suddenly grabbed her by the neck. Next scene, this crazy noise happened, and we see Thomason naked walking into the woods. She had become a witch. And then at the very, very end, she walked into this witch circle of fire thing, where all these witches are just partying hard around a fire, and then all of a sudden they all levitate, including Thomason. And Thomason cried and laughed. And that is a really thought-provoking scene. Why did Thomason choose to become a witch? Why did Thomason choose to become the reason why all of her family members are killed? Maybe it's because Thomason felt left out by the family. Maybe it's because the family had distrusted Thomason so much that he just hates being a normal human and wants to join the witches. I don't know. Maybe it's because she just wants to live deliciously. Also, I'm not, an expert on supernatural things, and I don't know if witches die. If they do die, it kind of makes sense that they would need someone young to join them, but if they don't die, they're only doing this just because they want one more member. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Comments below if you have any theories, whatnot. So yeah, overall, The Witch is a pretty great horror film. It's not like any other conventional mainstream horror film nowadays. It's very long-winded, it's very cerebral, it's very intense, and very artsy, and I like it overall. I am saying The Witch is a movie worth watching, and I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. So, have you watched The Witch? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, hate if you hate it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.